In this lesson, we're going to learn how to put titles on our videos. So let's learn all about this tab, which is titles. Basically, titles are text on your videos. They can be things like subtitles, openers, lower thirds, and so much more. Adding text to your video can give your audience more context as to what's happening. And with Filmora's built-in preset, you can show that text in a really creative and fun way. So let's take a look at this tab. We've got two options. One is default and the other is film stock. You can just use these, they're free to use, and you can just hit this download icon. Let's get this one. Download it, make sure you have internet connection, and drag it onto your timeline to get an animation. Let's play this back. Get an animation and you can put your text, and you can see how fun it is instead of putting a plain text onto your videos. So you have tons of options over here. You have things that don't have backgrounds. This had a yellow background, but what if I want something that doesn't have a background? I can select and download one of those first and play it. You can see my background is black. That means that this text can be put on top of a video. Let's get a video real quick, put it underneath, and now this text is on top of my video. Let's play this again. We've got the animation and the video playing in the back. So this is a great way to maybe type in the name of my video, maybe put my own name in there, and I can just attract the attention of my audience with this really cool yet simple animation. So some texts are meant for overlays and some are not. Let's get this one on top, and you can see how I'm not seeing the video even though it's underneath because we have this yellow background. Let's go back to titles and take a look at what we have. So just like all the other tabs, we have a favorites bar where I get to maybe favorite something, keep it for later by clicking on this heart. All of the things that you have downloaded have this icon, and once you hit that heart icon, it's going to show up in your favorite tab, and you don't have to look for it every time you want to use it. All of the titles are also categorized. We've got openers, which are usually titles that have a background on them. You can see, let's double click on this, see what it is. You can see there's a background, we get the text and the animation. Openers are titles that have a background. It could either be something simple like this one. You can see we got this light gray background, or it could be something complicated like this. You can see we got some really cool rose petals and a animation for this. Openers are a great way to introduce your audience to what's going to happen in this video. By looking at this, I can tell that this is maybe a wedding clip of Jack and Mary. So you can use openers. Let's take a look at what titles are. Now, titles are things that don't really have a background, but they're also quite large and are suitable for you to maybe say what's happening in this video. Let's grab one of these. I'm gonna get this one, drag it on top of my clip, and maybe I want to write the location that this video was shot in using this really cool animation. Let's play this back in real time. It's really fun and colorful, and I can write something in here. There are also titles that don't have any graphics, such as this. Let's drag it on top. This is quite simple, and it has a simple animation. Depending on the style you're going for, you can choose any of these. Let's go to lower thirds. These are things that will go down here. You can reposition them, but they're meant for lower thirds. Let's drag this on top. And now I have this showing up down there. We have subtitles, which you can add if a part of your video someone is speaking in a foreign language, or you just want to add some context to what's happening. We have end credits. You can see just like the movies. Got the cast members and all that. Let's delete that. We have new concept, which gives us more titles. We have titles, lower thirds, openers, and new concept is like a new style. You can see we have a lot of vibrant colors and shapes. And you can just go through each category to get what you are looking for. We then have plain text. These are texts that just don't have any animation and don't have any graphics. You can see it just suddenly appears. And finally, we have callouts. So they're kind of like, for example, I want to point to something. Let's say I'm talking about this cloud. I can use this callout to say maybe something about the cloud. So that's all for the text categories. Now, with all of these, you can drag them onto your timeline. Let's go for one of the titles. I will grab this one. And let's say this is way too big for my video. Any text that you bring onto your timeline, you can customize. So nothing is permanent. Double click on that text and you're going to enter this panel. We will take a look at this in a second, but over here we have these circles which I can just click and drag to readjust any element on this text. So this is my box. Maybe I want the box here. I can double click on the text as well, minimize it, maybe rotate it using this. And maybe I want this guy to be bigger, place it over here, and you're just free to move these around and change them up as you please. Nothing is permanent, like we said. Let me delete this title and let's get something new that we can work with. I will go to something, let's go for this one. We have a nice animation and I just want to customize this to my liking. Let's double click and double click on the graphics. I can just minimize the graphic and just minimize the text as well. Maybe put them to different size. Put something here, put the headline there, and I can just move these around as I please. Now let's hit Control Z, go back to our original thing. So I'm back to my original title. Let's double click and take a look at this panel. So we have text, video, and animation. Let's look at text for now. We have some presets here, which are styles. Right now we don't have a style, but if I double click on any of these, they're going to change the style. We have an outline now. You can make it neon and just go for any of these that you'd like. We have plenty of presets and they all look really cool. If you want to add animation to one text at a time, you can head over to this animation tab, maybe put typewriter, and now we get this typewriter effect on headline only. You can put others as well. Let's put random, and we're getting random. You can see your is like appearing at a random rate and then disappears. So you can use any of these animations to make your text more interesting. We have others as well. And that is for the animation tab. You got plenty of options as you scroll down. Let's take a look at here. I will grab my text again so we get a fresh title. I'm back with a fresh title. Let's double click again. And this time look at the font. So the font tab is where you get to adjust your text. You can change the font of your text, and you have plenty of these. The fonts that are available here are the things that are also on your computer. So if you want to add a font, make sure it's installed. Let's select the text first. Make sure that it is installed on your computer and then it will show up here. You can just choose any of these fonts and just make your text look cool. Apart from the font, you can choose the size. This is now set to 90. You can make it bigger or smaller by clicking on any of these numbers. You can also type in something that you'd like, 140, hit enter, and now it's bigger. You can make your text vertical by selecting this, vertical, horizontal. Make it bold by clicking this and making it italic. Then changing the alignment. So this is left to right, right to left, which we can't really tell here, middle or full length. You can also change the text here, double click, write something else, and then click away. So that's the font panel. Let's close this. We then have settings. This deals with the spacing and the colors. Let's change the color. by choosing any of these. You can go anywhere on the color spectrum and also change the darkness of this text. If you go towards the left, it's brighter. If you go towards the right, it's darker. You can also get this eyedropper tool down here, select it, and you can go anywhere on your screen to sample a color. Now this is the same purple as the one down here. And you can also change the way you see these color settings. This is the color wheel right here. But I can go on this one and just maybe go on RGB slider and change the red, green, and blue value of this color. That was red, this is green, this is blue. You can also type in something, or you can take a HEX color code from the internet and then paste it here. You can also choose a color profile. This is a bit more advanced. And you have other ways that you can choose the color. You got pencils, you got this, and this. Let's go back here. Choose the color of your text, and then you can change the spacing, which is the space between each of the letters. If you add, it will separate. If you remove or go to the negative side, -20, they're going to be really close. Let me choose something that's more visible. Line spacing is the space between the lines. We only have one line, so we're not really seeing a difference. And then we have the position where you get to snap it to either to any position onto your canvas. With text layers, you can switch between the different elements. Right now we have 3. Previous text, the next text, and just use these to get them. And that's this settings tab. We then have transform, which is the same as we learned for video transform. So I get to rotate my text, scale it in or out, and change the X and Y positions. If I change my mind, I can reset all of these using these buttons. We then have compositing, which we'll learn about in another lesson. You can also go to the video tab where you get to alter the entire thing, the entire layer. So scale it in if you want, scale it out, rotate it, change the X and Y position. Then we have compositing that we'll learn about later. We then have the animation, which is the same as animating a text layer. We learned all about this. It's the same thing. I can fade this out. You can see it fades out. Zoom it in. We got these keyframes that we learned about. So it's the exact same thing. And you get to use any of these presets. And we also have keyframes. You can see we get these random effects. The keyframes also function the way they do with videos. Let's take a look at how the keyframe works with text. I will make a keyframe, and then over here I'm going to scale it in. So now I will get this animation. Just like we learned for video, it's the exact same thing. So you can use all of these features to make your text more interesting, make them more fun, and just experiment and see which text gives the best impression for your video. We have multiple presets, so you don't need to do much. Now let's head over to the film stock tab where we still have presets, but the difference in here is these diamonds. Basically anything that has this diamond means that you need to purchase it before using it. Let's grab this one. This has the diamond. I'm going to drag it on top and I can use it, maybe see if I even want to keep it. But once I want to export this, I need to purchase this title. So you can just see if you want to use these are just paid features. Not every title has the diamonds. You can see these ones don't. Take a look at this one that doesn't have the diamond. I can see that after I export it, I will be driven to the export tab without being asked to pay for these. And over here, we still got some categories. We got basic. These are just basic text, not much going on. We have cinematic. These are free to use. So I'm just going to drag one in. There we go. You can see it's a really cool animation. Let's try one from the gaming. See what we're given. It's a really cool animation. Look at that. Really nice. This is great if you have like a YouTube channel where you game. And you got plenty more of categories. You got the resource pack, which if you download a resource pack from Filmstock, it will show up here. And again, just like the stock media tab, we have a favorite tab and a download tab. These are the things that you have downloaded. If you press this heart, it's going to move to the favorite tab. We have hot and recommended. These are what's popular nowadays. And we also have a search bar for you to look for things. You can filter through the free ones, the ones that don't have the diamond, or the standard ones that have the diamond. And whatever custom title you create is going to show up here. We're going to learn about custom titles and advanced title editing in another lesson. And now you know how to use titles to add text to your videos.